Hello, and welcome to day 7 of Healing on the Middle Passage. You may hear my kids in the background. I have already told them to be quiet, but if you hear them in the background, know that it is my kids. I'm wearing my kid jewelry paraphernalia today. So thank you so much for coming in today and watching this live. If you haven't been watching the series so far, I've been doing a series to honor my ancestors for going on the middle passage, for staying alive, and for ultimately making a sacrifice so that way I can be here today pursuing my dream. So, thank you so much for watching this live. I truly appreciate you. And thank you, ancestors, for going through everything that you have gone through, going through the middle passage, staying alive, living in squalor, eating terrible food, surviving the middle passage, surviving slavery, surviving so I can answer my calling, which is to heal our lineage, multiple lineages from all of that trauma. So here it is. I am here answering my calling as a healer, helping heal our lineage and other lineages, ultimately to build generational wealth and to help others answer their calling so they can help build generational wealth for their lineage as well. All right. So here we go today. Today we're going to be talking about how the mother wound ultimately causes you to, not just the mother and father wounds cause you to have unhealthy habits, and how these unhealthy habits are self-sabotaging opportunities that could ultimately help you achieve success and help you achieve generational wealth. So the purpose of this video and the purpose of what I do and how I help leaders is to help them overcome self-sabotage by healing mother and father wounds so they can self-actualize their gifts, own their power, and build generational wealth. So how do you know if a mother or father wound is affecting you? And how do you know if it's affecting your ability to be seen as a leader so you can build generational wealth and touch more lives and make an impact? Well, if you haven't been watching my series, here's how you know, just a little bit of information. You have mother and father wounds that cause self-sabotage if you say no to yourself before others can say no to you first. Perhaps you don't show up fully to build your network, and because your network is your net worth, it's causing you to leave money on the table. So perhaps you don't believe that you're deserving, worthy, or capable of sustaining success. Perhaps you spend time seeking validation, attention, approval, or support in unhealthy ways because of not getting that validation, attention, approval, or support that you needed as a child, especially during the first 3 7-year cycles of your growth. So from 0 to 7, from 8 to 14, and from 15 to 21 years of age. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how the mother and father wound in my particular life and how it may have affected your particular life with self-sabotaging success. And I'm going to tell you a story. I'm always, going to tell you a story. So with my unhealed mother and father wounds, it caused me to hold on to parts of me that I knew I needed to kill off, to die. Unhealed parts of my mother and father wound caused me to hold on to unhealthy habits. So, in 2019, I set a goal to be a 9-figure entrepreneur. I had just entered the coaching industry. I was excited about the possibilities. I was thinking, would I be famous? Would I change the world? I was just daydreaming about all the possibilities of what this industry, means. I thought I could be an overnight celebrity. I thought that being an entrepreneur was easy. And then reality set in. I began working on building my business, and all of my inner, crud came out. My overthinking, my overanalyzing caused me to self-sabotage media opportunities. My chronic optimization and perfectionism caused me to procrastinate and miss deadlines for client deliverables. My unhealed mother and father wounds caused me to play small and dim my light. And it caused me to leave money on the table, delay my success, and not be seen as a leader. Suddenly, my dreams for becoming a 9-figure entrepreneur seemed out of reach.
May I have your attention, please? The library will be closing in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Library
I had to.
will no longer be processed. The library will be closing in 15 minutes.
I had to take a real hard look at myself in the mirror and ask Source who I needed to be to have a 9-figure business. There are parts of me that needed to die, but the unhealed parts of me held on to the old habits of this part of me that I knew needed to be gone. So old habits of, not showing up for myself, not planning things through from start to finish, being impulsive without a plan creates, of course, a poor foundation. But I held on to these old habits because they didn't require me to change. I felt safe being who I've always been, right? That makes sense. So my illusion of safety caused me to stay stuck in the mud, not take my dreams seriously. I found myself pointing fingers and making excuses for not moving my business to the next level. And then I eventually threw up my hands in the air and I said, F it. I'm going to change my life because, you know, this life isn't what I wanted. The life that I was cultivating and the life that I'm currently living now, if I'm being 100% honest, isn't the life that I know that I deserve to live. But, unbecoming and becoming simultaneously is a process, as you know. So I began taking micro steps, and every day I'm taking micro steps toward healing my mother and father wounds. And it is uncomfortable. I can't even begin to tell you how uncomfortable it is. But each stage of evolution that this healing process has unraveled is causing me to become the person that I know I deserve to be and that 9-figure business owner that I know I desire to be and will be one day, if not more, 9-figure, 10-figure, I'm not going to sell myself short. I've already called it into existence that I will be my generation's version of Oprah in the healing realm. So I'm going to say that and I'm going to own that. So one of the things I had to do to begin feeling more secure in my skin, to harness my light, I had to stop condemning my parents, my mother and father, for who they weren't. You can start picking apart people for not being who you want them to be. And instead, I gave them compassion for everything they went through to be who they currently are and who they will continue to become in their own stage of evolution. And that's when my magic began to spark even more so. I began to live up to my name, and I'm still learning what living up to my name of radiance is. I'm starting to take more bold, courageous moves, going live for 80 days and promising myself and actually being 100% devoted to that for the last 7 days has been one of the most courageous things I have ever done. In a sense, healing on the middle passage is freeing me from what I am still shackled to, what I've still been a slave to, what habits I have been a slave to. Because in a sense, if you don't have control of your habits, you become the slave to your habits and the habits become your master. So I am healing myself on the middle passage as I'm doing this. So I started taking bold, courageous moves, aligning the best of intentions to massive action, combined to asking Source for what I want. And the universe, God, Source, what have you, responded with delivering gifts I asked for. And I tell you, these last few months have been one of the most trusting and allowing months I have ever gone through. And it's because I know that I've done the healing and I'm continuing to do the healing. I'm continuing to move through the triggers. So there have been miracles that have happened in my life, seemingly out of nowhere, and it's because of doing this healing work. Now, here's a lesson in all of this, and this life is going to be short. Your mother and father wounds will cause you to feel safe in recreating your familiar past and will hold on to dear life to the old you. You may have developed unhealthy habits because of your mother and father wound as a way of protecting yourself. These unhealthy habits may have caused you to contract or expand. Contract in a way where perhaps you are displeased with yourself when you aren't pleasing someone else to the point where you sacrifice yourself. Contract in a way where perhaps you get angry when things aren't going the way that you thought that they were supposed to be. Perhaps you have a need to control and hold on to things. And that was your way of protecting yourself because of your unhealed mother or father wound. And these habits that you're attached to are also attached to your limitations or are limiting you, self-sabotaging you from getting to that next level. So when you make bold, I asked you guys to stop. When you make bold statements that go against the you that you've always been, so I'm making this big, bold statement that I'm going to be a 9, 10, 11 figure Oprah, right? But that's a big, bold statement that goes against the you or the me that I've always been. So my old self, the person that I used to resonate with, is going through an internal tug of war with the person that I'm just aspiring to be. And it's trying to pull me back and self-sabotage me. And it's also masking self-sabotage with comfort and safety. It's an illusion. But because comfort and safety feel better than stepping into the unknown, guess what? That tug of war is usually a very, very, very hard war to overcome. But the problem is the person that I've always been or the person that you've always been can't go where you want to be. So this internal tug of war is basically you needing to decide which one are you going to be and which one's going to stay alive, which one's going to die, right? This is the death of the old self. So when you experience this, ask yourself if you're holding on to a commitment to who you wanted to be in the past that is no longer valid. Are you committed to behaviors instilled in you from your childhood that kept you safe, but aren't healthy behaviors that benefit your life? Ask yourself what triggers these behaviors and how what triggers these behaviors and how these behaviors have been on autopilot. When you become aware of the trigger, find a way to extend the time between the trigger and the action that's on autopilot. And I know that this is difficult. I tell my kids I'm sorry every day almost because I know I need to extend the delay or the pause between their trigger, which is usually some sort of like banter between them, but it's a trigger for me because it's disturbing my peace. They don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. And and then the delay, the pause, where I just take myself out of that moment and I say, give myself some time to find a way to not react. I need to extend that time. It's like there's a 2 to 4 second like window where you get to say, okay, I'm gonna elongate this time before I make a reaction, that habitual reaction that I do, which is cut the shit and I get upset. Right? I'm sure you guys can identify, even if you're not a mom, I'm sure that there's some sort of trigger that you need to find a way to extend the pause and find comfort in the pause before you have a reaction. And when you find comfort in the pause, you can input a new reaction into that after that pause. And then that will input a new action and that will change your neural pathway.
May I have your attention, please? The library will be closing in 5 minutes.
And know that you may experience a bit of contraction, a bit of resistance during this time.
Closing in 5 minutes.
But the more you practice this, the more you will be able to replace those actions that are on autopilot with new actions. And those actions that are new, that embody the person that you need to become, so you can be seen as a leader, so you can stop leaving money on the table, so you can create conversations that create, what was it? Conversions and conversations, right? Conversions that convert into monetary gains, right? That's what you want. But you have to create new actions. And with those new actions, that's how you become a leader that is seen as a leader. Not like you're not just a leader in your own head, but literally seen as a leader because you've been embodied the actions of a leader. actions that help you be seen as a leader so you can come closer and closer to touching more lives, making an impact, helping more people, creating generational wealth, owning your sovereignty. But you cannot do this until you heal your mother and father wounds, because those wounds are preventing you from radiating your light, a light that is unique to you. So if this resonated with you and you know that you're someone that needs some help in overcoming self-sabotage so you can step into your power as a leader and self-actualize your gifts, stop leaving money on the table, and make an impact to building generational wealth. Number 1, find peace in the pause. And number 2, send me a DM so we can work together. All right, this is a short live because I have to go, as you know, that we're in the library and you're hearing the tone. So we got to go. But thank you so much for watching this live. I truly appreciate you, appreciate your time. Thank you, ancestors, for enduring everything that you endured and keeping me alive. Well, you know what I mean. Like I wasn't with you, but in your surviving, now I'm here. And here's my baby, of course. You wanted to be on the camera. So thank you so much for watching this live. And once again, send me in DM so we can work together. And this is Healing on the Middle Passage, Day 7. Sending you love. Bye. All right, we're heading out.
Of course, Mom. Of course.
Hold on, guys. We're it's still on. It's still on. Shh. It's still on. Oh my gosh. You hear? Shh. Oh my goodness. Harmony. You hear cussing and stuff. Jeez. I'm just gonna shut it off.